it's really pretty wild how many of our manufacturing processes these days are the same dumb process from like the Stone Ages. Most things that are metal are stamped, which is basically banging the metal with a shape, which is something, I mean,
that's
done since the Roman era. Blacksmiths have done it. Molding. I mean, molds were, these are ancient technologies.
But we apply the same sort of stuff to the food industry a lot. If you think of like ice cream sandwiches, for example, like filling them in, if you watch how it's made, that's like that entire show.
It gets better because working in plastics, we'd have a new ingredient or something like that that we would want to put into our plastics. And it'd be like, yeah, this chemical, this formula, it helps with release. So it helps the parts fall out of the mold better. And and it's great for human consumption. So you put it in the same shit we're putting in the plastic parts for the automobile. Some company is putting into their cookies, so they slide off the tray easier.
Right. Thank you, DuPont.
This is sketchy.
That's not going to cause cancer or anything.
No, exactly. Gonna eat the same.
Which I guess a lot of like plastic stuff has to be like like non-toxic because little kids will end up eating it. So like, it does actually matter that it's edible.
It absolutely does. I'm reminded of a time we had a chemical you would put into soda caps, and so that they would either keep oxygen in or carbon dioxide out or something along those lines. And there was some consumption concerns, and there's that plastic liner, sort of rubbery plastic liner that sets in the cap. And it was like, how many people are going to pierce that liner? And we're sitting there in the meeting, and one guy just was fidgeting, and he had already punched a hole through the plastic liner in his cap with his, ballpoint pen. And we're like, oh God.
Or, so clearly at least 1 out of 10.
It was, it's fine to eat, but it couldn't get in their eyes. So then we're like, okay, what are the chances this guy's not going to stick this ballpoint pen in his eye?
Like, keep going, Fred, whatever you're doing over there. Like, keep fidgeting. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Does this fit here?
It's like what totally. Skit would that be from? Like a Monty Python?
yeah, totally.
Hey, cut that out. Cut that out.
Was it you that showed me that Monty Python that was like the reenactment group, like that does like the ladies of wherever that do reenactments? Did you show me this skit?
I don't know if I showed it to you, but I have seen these.
I love that. I show that to people all the time. Like
Pierce down ladies are going to create the battle of Midway.
Like here we are at Pearl Harbor. Like just go like start beating each other with purses, like rolling around in the mud.
In their fancy dresses and their purses. Those guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's add John Cleese to our list of potential guests.
Let's hit him up.
He can talk about
still alive, right?
Done well. He is still alive, and Eric Idle is still alive. Yeah, he's like period. I mean, now Cleese might be too old to be in stuff, but anyway.
Right. I mean, what is it? Dame Judi Dench. She just died, I think, this week. Or maybe she didn't die. I saw that she died, but I never believe things online. If I just see it once, I don't see it all over the place, and I'm like, that didn't happen.
You're thinking of the wrong Dame.
I'm thinking of the girl
Maggie.
from Maggie Smith. You're right. Yeah,
Maggie Smith is the Dame who died. So
literal
Dame,
but she's
not
like
just me saying this Dame. I feel like lately people are just dying left and right. Maybe
who died? Who else died?
Pete Rose died like yesterday.
Pete Rose.
Yeah, one of the best baseball players ever.
Okay,
and also was caught up in the gambling scandal. So he's absent gambling. He'd be a Hall of Famer 10 times. He'd be the king of the Hall of Fame. He to this day has the hit record. He has the most hits in the and many other records, but that's the biggest one. He had 15 seasons over 300 batting average. He went to the All-Star game 17 times. He won 3 World Series for 2 different teams. Mount Rushmore of baseball players.
Right.
Not, but banned from the Hall of Fame due to his gambling on games.
Man, who cares? Yeah. Oh, there's that. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we could start a debate about, if you want to have a real debate, we could start about the Barry Bonds and the juicers.
Juicing. I was just watching that last night, the Hall of Shame, like, which is the Balco Labs guy talking about, he's like super proud of his work, like to this, and I'm like, he's like, it is a level playing field. It's just not the level playing field that we think everybody thinks it's on, like that everybody who is juicing, basically. And I'm kind of like inclined to be like, if you can sort it out, I'm curious to see how far you can go. Like, if you don't mind, like they had I can't think of his name now, the sprinter. And he was like, I want to be the fastest in the world. If I win the 100-meter sprint, then if I set the world record for that, then I am the fastest man on earth. And I will do whatever it takes. I want that record. He's like, it's kind of selling your soul to the devil, but I am willing to do literally anything. I'm like, okay. I'm curious. Like, I'm not willing to do that personally. Like, but if you are, I'm curious to see, like, how great can we be? But
a lot of fame and fortune if you can figure that out. Maybe that is the path to getting rich. I tend to fall on the side of like, those guys are cheaters. You shouldn't be listed alongside the guys who from prior generations.
But like, do we know? I mean, because if they could do it, and people did get away with it for a long time, like the other guys that this Balco dude like worked with, when we've got this like undetectable stuff, like, and all these records are established as undetectable. If you immediately quit, like if that guy who did the 100-meter dash never ran again after that race, that record would stand because nobody would know that he ever juiced, right? But I tend to agree that it's like, can't enhance, like, same as like, you can't deflate a football somewhat to make it easier to catch or whatever, like that.
Well, you can't do that.
I'm like, right. I'm saying
ain't nobody keeping Tom Brady out of the Hall of Fame due to footballs, I promise you, or Bill Belichick, promise you. That motherfucker, Tom Brady, he's one of the commentators on football games now, and I want to say they signed him to a $375 million deal.
I mean, like, that sounds fair. Like, I mean, how much was he making at the end?
10-year, $375 million. And then he got on, and people are like, he's not that good.
Like, when these big old football players are actually good at commentary, I'm like, that's kind of surprising. Like,
well, the quarterbacks, like, obviously, they know the game all football players know the game inside and out, right? But quarterbacks really have to know it.
And they're supposed to be the smartest, right? Like, there's some tests that like players take. The like, I don't know. I heard about this somewhere. This is gonna be one of my usual stories where I'm like, there's this one test, and like these people test like this, but I can't remember. Like, the classic Kalyn story. But like, so I mean, with like performance enhancement stuff, I mean, all the like new things Nike comes out with shoes or whatever. Like, these shoes are lighter and going to give you more spring in your step, etc. Like at some point, like that's a little bit of performance enhancing also. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you're smarter on science stuff than I am, but I'm sure with like, especially nutrition and then workout routines, rest habits and supplements and legal drugs versus where's the borderline between which of these things?
One really interesting thing I heard that people were doing, they would go into like hyperbaric chambers, like, and basically like trying to like so that they're used to training at high, or they go train at high altitude. That's what it was. And like, basically it forces your body to make a whole bunch more red blood cells. And so you get hyper oxygenated and you can like perform a lot better. It's not taking a drug, they're not like doing that, but it has that same effect. Like, if you go to Denver, you're like, man, I feel a little lightheaded after walking around because it's like so high up and you're just not getting as much oxygen as you're used to. But then if you adjust to that and then come run it in New Orleans below sea level, then suddenly you got tons of red blood cells that are, so like that's
straight out of the marathon playbook. If you're an elite marathoner, you go train, like you go live in Colorado to train or whatever, but you're competing against these guys from like Eritrea that's totally mountainous, and like,
that like, I can't remember how the hyperbaric chamber thing was used, but that was definitely a part of it also.
I remember James Harrison, he was this just beast of a linebacker from the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Steelers. He slept in a hyperbaric chamber every night, you know, along
Like,
with a million other things
which is
like that.
crazy. Like,
Yeah, well, the guy was
like,
like,
who has access to a hyperbaric chamber? Like,
well, if you're a
you know?
Pittsburgh Steeler,
I guess you buy one. I mean, I don't know how much those cost.
Well,
like,
I'm gonna find out right now. Hyperbaric.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
chamber.
they're like expensive, but I don't.
Shopping
I don't know.
online.
Shopping. Google shopping. Hyperbaric chambers.
All right, I'm seeing several come up for $10,000 ish, and then I see one. This is just obviously I haven't done my deep research on this market. Maybe for next podcast, but the run of the mill ones look to be about 10 grand, and the really fancy ones look like they're $46,000. And
oh, that's a lot less.
You can. Oh no, I can buy sessions. I was thinking there's like this hyperbaric chamber that you could like fold up and take traveling with you for a couple $100, but.
Oh,
listen, you're a professional football player, and you something that costs 10 grand is going to help you be a better player.
I mean,
you're doing.
You're a huge person to begin with, so you're probably spending 10 grand on your bed, like because you're such a big person that you can't have a standard sized bed.
Hell, you get a Tempur-Pedic mattress these days. You're spending damn near 10 grand on your bed, you know?
Yeah.
And you go to Ethan Allen and buy a nice bed or a fucking Pottery Barn, and
right. Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, you're 10 grand into your bed real quick.
Right.
Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, which makes me wonder, do you have to be at like some humongous hyperbaric chamber that like a custom hyperbaric chamber? I would guess
James Harrison had the 50 grand model, you know, because again, you know, he's earning 10 million a season, probably more because he was awesome. But
like, don't you have specialized things to like run so I always think of hyperbaric chambers as what, like, if you dive and you get the bends, then like you need to get in this hyperbaric chamber, like be normal, whatever. Things go wrong with scuba diving and stuff. That's or if you're a professional diver and you like live in a submarine kind of thing, like then you need to be in a hyperbaric chamber. But
well, let's see. Running a hyperbaric chamber requires a variety of trained professionals and specialized equipment. You need a hyperbaric attendant, and I don't think you need all these things. They use less than 70 watts of electricity to deliver up to 600 liters of.
So you have to have a big supply of oxygen, obviously, but
yeah, I'm sure you got to buy an oxygen tank. You know all about that from your air gas experience.
Yeah, I do. I do know a lot about that from air gas.
Absolute minimum space is, yeah. Well, and I think there's probably different kinds of like hyperbaric. I'm sure the ones in the hospital are in a room size and whatever. Like that's a different deal than the one James Harrison had in his bedroom. You know,
give all the reasons.
James Harrison played for the Patriots too.
My God!
I gotta show you some pictures of James Harrison. I mean, this guy just a beast.
Mm-hmm.
That dude. Oh
yeah,
he was a Bengal too. Look here.
And a Steeler. Oh, you said Steelers already.
My God.
Wow.
Just an absolute. And he played like an absolute animal. He would just like tear your head off.
Right. Which sounds a lot like juicing to me, but
no,
you know, it's like
no hate.
Got some road rage, like channel into football. Like,
well, they did a ESPN thing on him, you know, mini documentary or whatever. And that's where I learned about the hyperbaric chamber. But he was just like, his philosophy is like, my body makes me millions of dollars a year, so I continue to invest. I'm going to do everything I can to maximize this body's potential, you know.
Right. Well, so, I'm sure that's true of all, like, well, Cindy Crawford famously, like, had that exact mentality about, like, my looks are what make me money. I'm going to use them for money. That's, like, back in the, like, the real supermodel days, like, when we had Claudia Schiffer and Cindy Crawford and all those. Like, she's the only one of those big ones who like did Playboy because she made such a mint from it. And she was like, whatever, this is what makes me money, so I'm going to use that to my benefit. And she looks freaking great still. Like, but
yeah, I know she's still selling skin creams or something. Right. She must be just got to be 60.
I've considered something like that. Yeah. Like, she looks terrific though. And all of those celebrities, like, I imagine Tom Brady and Giselle, when they were married, like, their house must have been just the most boring food in the world. Like, nothing good at all to eat. Like, you know, like, they never, ever have ice cream in their household, like, ever. They eat, like, chicken and vegetables, very specific, no extra, like, anything.
But I think he himself, like, literally had dudes, like, running around, like, all right, Tom,
Yeah.
time to eat this. Time, it's
That I
it's
I know that they have.
12:07. You got to eat
Yeah.
these 7 raw pieces of broccoli or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
and this
Exactly.
ground up turmeric.
Right.
So
It's I think that's the life you get. It's for like Hollywood people. Certainly, when guys are like they're gonna become Aquaman or whatever. Like that guy was already like had a great look before, but like I think it gets crazy hardcore. I've heard Christian Bale.
Christian
Like
Bale, yeah.
he's talked about like I mean his body has been in super extremes because he was in The Machinist where he had to like get down to like 130 or something like that. Like he looks emaciated, Machinist. And then the next role was like the Batman or something. And so he had to be up to like 230 like in muscle. I don't know. It's like dangerous points, like
I'm not
they're
sure if
losing that
he's one
much
of
weight.
these, but some actors, on top of all that, the workout routines and the diets and stuff, then they also their method is they live every day as that
Oh,
character they're going to become.
dude.
And I'm
Yeah,
just
the
like,
method acting.
how
Yeah.
insufferable must it be to be like,
Oh,
all
to
right,
be around
Dick Cheney, what do you want for?
being around Joaquin Phoenix, like that's what everybody thought Joaquin Phoenix was crazy for a while because he was like promoting his movies, like, and I'm living this character. That's just who I am right now. Like, apparently, Jim Carrey when he was this Andy Kaufman, like
Yeah,
everyone had to call him Andy.
yeah,
I think Dave Chappelle talks about it. He's like, I got
it's
to meet
funny.
him. Yeah, I got to meet him, and he's like,
this is weird. This motherfucker wants me to call him Andy. I know his name.
It's like I'm meeting like my dream, but it's not my dream playing someone else. Like.
Joaquin Phoenix is like, I look at that guy and I'm like, that guy, he must be an insufferable weirdo to live with anyway.
Yeah.
And he's one of those. There's a couple actors or actresses like that where I'm like, this person I bet is a really weird individual. And they were real weirdos in high school,
Yeah.
They were on the drama club anyway, but
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, Joaquin famously River Phoenix's brother, and like he has other siblings that are like Dewdrop and Sunshine or something. Like they're all I don't even know what Joaquin means, but like they come from like a uber hippie family, and like then he's an extra layer. I agree with you.
Joaquin, I always figured was like a Spanish name or something, which maybe it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't remember. Like, yeah, I guess I could look it up. Yeah, his relatives are River Phoenix, Rain Phoenix, Liberty Phoenix, and Summer Phoenix. Like Arlen.
Another actress that I'm like, this person has got to be a total weirdo is Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Like, I look at her, I'm like, I can just, for some reason, I just totally can envision being in high school with Cate Blanchett and being like, man, I can hardly deal with this person,
like,
this pretentious
get me out of this
actress.
class. Like, I don't want to. Yeah. Katherine Hagel seems like super nice and whatever, but apparently she is like just the worst person on earth to work with. Like a lot of people like will not work with her, and that's like why she started doing Z-Cool commercials because like she wasn't getting work because she's such a pain in the ass.
No kidding. Yeah, she is definitely one of those that just comes across as
just super girl next door, super sweet, down to earth, like nice. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
People are like, she's a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah, she is a nightmare. I will never work with her again. Like,
wow. That's how people were with Bill Murray. Like evidently like
really?
being on a in a movie with Bill Murray is a total nightmare, but anyway.
That's interesting.
It's kind of like us, Kalyn. We kind of like pretend to be people who know what the hell we're talking about with money. We're so pretentious. That's the two of us. Listen, folks, if you've come to a podcast for pretense, you've come to the right place. Let's cue the music.
Yeah.
You are listening to Robert and Kalyn Get Rich. Today is October 2nd, 2024. This is episode 23, Michael Jordan episode. Who knew? Yeah. I'm Robert Kimmel, your host. This is Kalyn Kimmel, your co-host. And we are here to talk to you, have a little fun with money, or famous people, or whatever it is that we feel like talking about. Right. So, Kalyn, off camera, you were saying you had
A
a
product
product,
to show you? Yeah, I
and I have
do.
a
It,
product to share with you
ooh.
too. So I'm excited.
Oh,
My product that I was going to show you. So I was at Target and I found this on the clearance end
yeah,
cap, and
yeah.
so I was like, well, I got to try that. But this is the Mountain Dew that's out for
Oh,
Halloween,
oh
and
no, I haven't
it's
seen it.
called. And this in his this ghost's face, it says Voodoo with do
Oh,
DEW, but this is the mystery flavor.
yeah,
Um,
that's
and I was
exciting.
like, so
This
here
is
it
good.
is, Mountain Dew mystery flavor. Smells kind of like it smells like candy.
Yeah,
It smells like Mountain Dew candy.
yeah.
That's too bad. I was dying of thirst too. Like when we were doing our conversation, I was dying of thirst. I'm like, all right, I'll drink the mystery flavor Mountain Dew
Yeah.
because I'm thirsty. And now I'm like really, really regretting this. So it's a candy-ish. It's on the borderline. You know how cough syrup tastes kind of candy-ish.
It's like
It's not quite
Trimenic.
cough. Mountain Dew, you've
You're
outgunned cough syrup.
yeah. Yeah, Mountain Dew's
But
R&D department, I think we need a little refinement on the products we're putting out. Like first of all, you're just going nuts with like the number of products being released. And I guess they don't all have to be winners, but if you get I mean, you keep drinking it, the reaction face is getting better, but it's not it's not like
well, maybe there was something with like the carbonation floated to the surface, so the first drink was certainly the worst,
notably
and
bad.
or I'm getting used to it, because there was a bitterness to lead
Oh.
in that to a greater extent. But man, and this taste just hangs on your tongue.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be an artificial cherry in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
If you handed this to me and said, "All right, this is carbonated lemonade with cherry," I would buy that. I'm sure there's other flavors as well,
Well, they
but
make that. Yeah, I'm like they make that. I
I
mean,
am not.
they had the Baja Dew, which was basically like lemonade with a. Well, I guess that was ginkgo or something, but well, no, that one it wasn't ginkgo. That was like the yellow one. That one had I don't know something
I'm
for.
just not happy about this, and it's 270 calories, so it's like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna want to. And now I'm
Yeah.
gonna belch.
Yeah.
And right, and none of the ingredients sound
It's
like
got citric
English.
acid in it, which makes it sort of
It for sure
citrusy.
has that.
That's
It has
it.
high fructose corn syrup
No kidding.
and potassium sorbate.
Well, yeah, that's very freshness, I think.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, you know your ingredients, don't you?
That's sodium
And
benzoate, actually. Protects
glycerol
taste.
ester of rosin and
Oh,
calcium disodium edta. I don't know.
the sodium.
Protect flavor. Do you listen to me? Product development scientists.
Slow down. Yeah.
this cannot happen again. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's already been 7 times, I feel like, with like them and
You
these
betrayed
terrible
my trust enough.
Yeah,
You're
Spark
like
Zero. Where did it go? Why did it have to go away? You keep putting out all this garbage. Why do you take away the good stuff?
And then it's like a bad boyfriend who just like keeps coming back, and you're like, you keep letting him back into your life.
I know. I'm like, maybe this one will be good. Maybe this time it'll work. He says he won't hit me anymore, but like he feels really bad about like beating me up last time. But
Mountain Dew's like, I'll do better, baby. I promise I'll do better. And
I'm like, I don't know.
I promise, baby. Let me in. You mean everything to me.
Yeah.
You mean everything to me. And then you're like, Mountain Dew,
like,
I can't stop loving you.
I want to love you so bad. We're meant for each other. Stop abusing me. Yeah,
but no. Now
That's
we got to
how I
kick
feel.
you out to the curb. Go. You don't come back till you have a job, Mountain Dew. A new job.
Yeah, you're not
So
gonna
you
be a
can pay the
freeloader
bills.
anymore. Like, yeah.
My mother says you're no good for me, Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and she's right.
He's no good for you.
I still haven't tried some of the ones I see regularly from Mountain Dew that are like
Yeah.
there's a red one that I'm like, I don't know. I feel real weird about red soda. Like It just doesn't seem right to me. But and then they've got this major grape, which I don't like grape flavored stuff.
So
but,
those two goddamn flavors hang around forever, but the Spark Zero that you liked.
Yeah, right.
What flavor is the red one? What's it called?
So it's called I think it's major something.
So major grape, and this one's major.
Oh wait, no,
majors.
nope. Yeah, I'm wrong. Sorry. Let's see. It is called Code Red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and on this, it does say that the Star Spangled. Oh, maybe that's a different Star Spangled Splash than what I got. Like that says splash of red berry or whatever. Yeah, Code Red is cherry flavored carbonated drink, introduced in 2001. I'm like I'm new to the Mountain Dew scene. I wasn't an early adopter like you were, so I don't know.
Like, back when Diet Mountain Dew was an exotic flavor.
Right. Yeah, I get. But that's not the one I'm thinking of. I just pulled up the Mountain Dew Wikipedia flavor list. Currently, they have regular Mountain Dew, Diet caffeine-free Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew Real Sugar, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, which is exclusive with Taco Bell, like apparently.
Oh.
But now it was exclusive to Taco Bell from 2004 to 2014.
Yeah.
And anyways, Mountain Dew Code Red, 2001 to present. Mountain Dew Live Wire, which is an orange variety.
The orange one, yeah.
2000 and 2003 on. Mountain Dew Voltage. That's the blue one that I like pretty well. It's the 2008 Mountain Dew Voodoo.
That's the one I'm drinking.
Yeah, an annually released flavor of Mountain Dew for Halloween. Flavors are typically based on candies.
They bring this back every year for Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Flavors are typically based on candies. So it'd be
so
fun.
I got to guess what candy this is.
I guess so. You're like, I'm just trying to get a double Hubba Bubba like flavored.
I bet it's Twizzlers. How do you figure out? Like, it's either like Twizzlers or like strawberry Jolly Rancher or something. But
then there's the exclusives because we're not done yet. At Sam's Club only, you can get Berry Monsoon. KFC, you can get Sweet Lightning. At Dollar General, you can get Maui Burst. At Walmart,
Dollar General gets their own Dollar General.
Yeah.
Here's the Mountain Dew for poor people.
Oh yeah, wait. There's the next is Walmart has the Frostbite exclusive. Then
that
Sheets
sounds good. Sheets, okay.
Sheets has Atomic Blue, which is electrifying lemonade, and that's exclusive to Sheets and Come and Go. Then Bojangles has Southern Shock Mountain Dew. Red Lobster has a Dew Rita.
Jesus.
It's a margarita made with Mountain Dew.
I could get behind that.
The first alcoholic Mountain Dew product. which has Mountain Dew Vibe. Then Kroger has Thrashed Apple, which I've definitely seen that one. Food Lion has Dew Uproar. Applebee's has Berry Bash. Buffalo Wild Wings has Mountain Dew Legend. Casey's has Overdrive. And 7-Eleven and Speedway have Infinite Swirl.
So couple reactions here. First, these motherfuckers will make flavor for anybody. You're making a flavor for Bojangles?
Yeah.
And freaking Circle K?
Yeah. And Red Lobster's bankrupt now. What's happening with the Dorita?
Mountain Dew, you might never get paid for the Dorita mix you sent.
I know.
You might want to just go ahead and write that right off your balance sheet.
Yeah, I don't even know what Casey's is. Is that a grocery store?
No, you guys are making a soda for Casey's.
Yeah. Convenience stores. Yeah, that's right.
I've been to every state in the union. Okay, Mountain Dew. I've never heard of a Casey's, and you're making them a custom flavor.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of them actually, but they're a Midwestern and Southern United States convenience store chain.
That's reaction one. Reaction two is why? Like, you're the retail. Okay, so you're Kroger. You're getting more business because you have Apple Upchuck or whatever that flavor was that they're making. People go to Kroger
specifically for that flavor.
I mean, 1 in 10,000 people that freaking loves
right,
apple upchuck.
right. I
Mountain
will
Dew.
shop at any grocery store in the Union if they sell Mountain Dew Spark Zero. That's true, and I
Right.
will exclusively shop there. But I am the outlier here.
Right. Again, this is probably pre-episode, but we were talking about the freaking warehouse at Lego. I mean, just guys, simplify, streamline. You know,
and I didn't go through 90% of these. It looks like I just kept scrolling. Then they have frozen beverages. Then they have some international variations, like Mountain Dew Extreme, made for Kuwait. Later Honduras.
Extreme
later for
heat.
Honduras. They still sell it apparently. Oh, and also in Saudi Arabia now. Yeah.
This is going to be like a Bill Maher new rule, but new rule Mountain Dew, you have to admit that like half these flavors are the same thing with different names and different labels.
I would think so. I mean, I hope so, honestly.
Berry Blue and Blue Blast and Extreme
at
blah,
this
blah,
point,
blah.
Like it's worth looking at this list just because it's so long. Like, just throw a little bit of this shit in there. Like,
make it a little pinker, make it a little redder.
Let's add some ginseng. That seems to be popular right now. Like, their sales department goes out and they're like, "Great news, everybody! I finally locked in a deal with, Alibaba's like." Brasserie or whatever, like
Frida Shack.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna, but they need an exclusive, so we're gonna do Magic Carpet Mountain,
exactly.
Mountain Lager. I gotta say, and here's another thing, Wikipedia people. Guys, this is like you got to do better, Wikipedia. This kind of reminds me, one of our little discussion practice exercises, 2-minute drills, was about breweries, microbreweries.
Yeah.
And my general take on the microbreweries, I stole at least one of these takes from you, but the first one was, guys, there's only 10 flavors of beer, right? It doesn't matter which brewery you go to. It's the same shit, okay? You got a lager thing. You got an IPA. You've got a brown ale. You've got an amber ale. You've got a wit beer. You might call it a wheat beer, and you might call it a this or a that, and you might add a little orange slice to it. But it's the same shit, you know?
Yeah.
And you get a fancy name because you're the Firehouse Brewery, so you call it, Engine 9 IPA, and the other one's the Ladder Truck Lager. Right. But it's the same stuff. So,
man, don't tell the beer nerds that though, because they will rip you a new asshole about all the
attention beer nerds. We're gonna make this a short. Attention beer nerds. There are only 10 flavors. Stop pretending there's not. Okay.
Lager, we're sorry to our friends porter, in Germany. And
a porter and a stout are the same thing. Stop pretending they're not. Okay, beer nerds. I am talking to you.
Yeah.
IPA is the same as double IPA is the same as triple IPA, okay?
Sometimes it's a little more IPA.
Yes. And I think that juicy one.
Yeah. I hate the sours. That's the rant I went on. We don't even want to try to make stuff taste good anymore. And I was willing to go there with the IPAs. I fought my way through to liking IPAs, but it was a battle. It was an uphill battle, like it was when I first started drinking beer, where I was like, ugh, this stuff's awful, but I'm 17, and so of course I'm going to drink it.
I have to do it, yeah.
This is the only option I have. It's this or Mad Dog. And so here we go. But yeah, it's awful. And then I learned to like it, and that same thing. And I'm not going to do it again. I won't do it. I will not like sours. They're just awful drinks. The end. Stop trying to make it good. It's not. Ooh, so complex. I mean, that just means it tastes bad. I'm like, you've pushed me too far, beer industry. I will not do it. I'm done. You come up with anything else that tastes like garbage, I'm not drinking. I refuse. So.
The other one I did, I stole your take. I'm pretty sure I know this is your take, but I was like, the tour at the microbrew, it's like, listen, if you thought the beer flavors were the same, every microbrew tour is the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's where we heat the water, boil the
right. We put in a bunch of this barley and that pop and whatever, and we figured out the perfect balance of this. Yeah.
And then you go over to the bottling line and you're like, oh, this is just way less sexy than I ever thought it was.
When do we start drinking? That's what I'm here for.
Every time I'm at a brewery, I'm like, this is just, well, actually all manufacturing in general. I think I grew up thinking the Keebler elves lived in the tree making magic cookies. And I just know I've never been to the Keebler cookie factory, but I promise you it is a
We
I mean, I'm sure
exclusively
it's
hire
well lit and
elves.
all this.
Like,
It's not involving elves and rainbows. It's,
yeah.
concrete floors, people clocking in, waiting in
Yeah,
line.
big vats, huge vats where you pour in like, enormous amounts of flour and baking soda and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
and nothing's, spoiled the mystique of automobiles, like working in the automobile industry. Like the day I went to a factory, a mold shop. So a supplier to a supplier to a supplier of Ford.
Yeah.
And there were people on using 50-gallon drums as tables. And what they were doing is hand gluing the Mustang onto Ford
Yeah.
Mustang grills,
Yeah.
and on these 50-gallon drums. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is not nearly as sexy as I had ever imagined.
I just saw a video recently that was like showing these guys in like India or Indonesia or, somewhere in that part of the world, making brake pads. And they were like, it was basically a by hand effort also. Like they grind them all down and stuff. And then they just like put some glue on this side and then slap that thing down and whatever, stick it together, put it in the box. And then it's like exactly what you see at the store. I'm like, oh, huh. I didn't think it was like that. Like,
I think there's an awful lot of manufacturing processes that are still very, very manual, and a lot of those, of course, are overseas. But
right,
yeah, anything involving like what's coming to mind is like toys that are attached to the box and they're like twist tied to the box or anything like that. You cannot program a robot to deal with that.
You don't think so?
I mean, yes, you can, but you're not going to do it for the My Little Pony. You might do that on your very, very heaviest movers. There's a lot of toys being put in boxes and like, I think that's what I would guess.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I thought they just had some machine that like could pretty easily, whatever, one thing hands the like bends one in half and puts it through the slot, like when I watch fences being made or whatever, when they have things that make coils and whatever of metal. It seems like
yeah, that's why. I mean, because when you're making that chain link fence, if you're a chain link fence factory, you're making a lot like non.
Yeah, that's just like the same
24 hours a day.
Yeah, you're just like bend this way, now this way, whatever. So,
and if it's the main Barbie doll, or
I mean, but like, yeah, Barbie's a good example
Barbie
because
dolls they probably all fit in the same tray, and so they can have the same fastening.
Yeah.
Okay, we might automate that, but the the one little special.
Yeah, you make a
lot of these toys. They have no idea what toy is going to take off either. I mean, it's a really tough business, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Somebody's got a really fun life.
I'm just guessing a lot of those are very manual processes.
It's not quite as fun as the like grandmas making dildos in Dominican Republic or whatever. Guatemala.
That was my favorite.
Exactly. Painting on the veins. Like, so nice.
Listen, sex toy manufacturers. There's only 3 types of sex toys. It's all the same stuff.
Oh man, don't tell that to all that industry. I don't know. Can't think of it. Like to dreams industry? Or whatever. Like the shops that sell the goods. They tend to have like 500,000 products. You're like, whoa. There's a lot of options for things. I'm like, well, goodness.
Yeah. You can really hone in on exactly what you want.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I think medicine's kind of like any industry, once you work in it, you're like, this is not that glamorous. Anytime I've talked to the nurses and doctors that I've worked with, I'm like, so what's like the craziest thing you've like learned being a nurse or doctor or whatever? And they're like, people like to stick things in their butt. And I'm like, that's what you've taken away, like from working in this industry. Like, okay, like, yikes. So maybe it's good that we have lots of products in that area, so that people don't get things, have to go into the hospital because they're like, this wine bottle seems like a good thing to like.
I do get the sense that working in an ER is very, very little, or working in a hospital is very little like being on Grey's Anatomy or ER.
I'm saving lives.
I don't think there's all that much sex going on in the break room.
That's right. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, not from my experience. Not that I'm a nurse or a doctor, but
it might be romanticized.
just a little bit.
Amp up the drama just a little
right.
bit as well.
They're also less good looking in general than than portrayed on TV.
Yeah. At one point, Andrea watched like every stinking season of Grey's Anatomy, and it was just like
I can't
eventually it was like they cannot think of any new natural disasters to befall the city of Seattle.
There was some joke that they had like 2 like tornadoes with the helicopter crashing into the building. 2 different seasons that happened or whatever. And I'm like, what? Like twice you have a tornado / helicopter event in your hospital? Like, what?
Yeah, guys, you've jumped the shark. You got it.
Right, exactly. Like somebody's doing a heart surgery on a boat or whatever. Like, just like, how are you coming up with these ideas? Did the doctors go off this week? The people who are writing out how to like talk medicine, like,
it's their week off, and it's the crash helicopters into a building
so
guys
like,
week.
I know what we can do. Man, I keep getting into these shows that are on HBO, and then like I'll be like, this show is the shit. It's the best of the murder shows I've ever seen, and like it'll have 1 season with 6 episodes, and that's it. And I'm like, why? Like the one I watched most recently, it's called No One Will Hear You Scream, and like the thing is that not always the person dies, right? And like, so I mean, 6 episodes, and I watched them back to back to back, and the last episode, I was like, oh my god, like it was amazing. I even like went to find out who the producer was and see what else he's made so that I could like get I'm like, this guy knows what's up. But yeah, and he had like done a couple of episodes from others that I liked, and I was like, what? Do more work. You must work more. This guy, yeah.
Pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
We should put him to work at Mountain Dew creating papers. Jeez, guys, get some talent in here. I'll tell you why Deadliest Catch is on season 23, because they are like stupid cheap to make. We send like 3 guys out with cameras and 2 more to edit it, and you've got a Deadliest Catch episode.
Like, the movie industry has gotten a lot more narrow in the types of movies that they make, because they're like, we only want home runs. We're just not going to put the money in to like make these movies if they're not going to be total slam dunk home runs.
We're seeking home runs too, Kalyn, in the form of stock picks.
That's true.
Let's see how our
hopefully our
portfolio is doing.
Be up.
I think this is going to be more like a hit by pitch, I'm afraid. So
whoopsies.
Our total gain. By the way, and we've been in a juicy stock market, and we are doing just terrible.
What's going on?
But today we lost 2.5%, and so that brought us back down into the red at negative 1.79%. I was looking to see who our culprit was quickly post, and I think it's this one, Eagle Pharmaceuticals, down 33% today.
Gosh.
45% overall. Here it is. Eagle Pharmaceuticals in default amid delays in financial report filings.
Why can't my companies ever get their shit together with financial reporting? Like this is like, how many of them are like, we're just not doing it. Yeah, we're not reporting it. Like, well, or whatever.
Look at the newsreel on this one. Last month, they announced a delisting notification 5 months ago. Never mind. That's about a fighting trial. 5 months ago, a notification of deficiency from NASDAQ. 9 months ago, deficiency from NASDAQ.
Maybe we should be reading these headlines a little before we buy them then. Because
I feel like 5 months ago. I feel like at the time we picked Eagle Pharmaceuticals, we like almost picked them because of their
We're like, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
We did the whole thing with like Beaker pretending or NASDAQ. I've never heard of it. I'm making fucking chemical pharmaceuticals over here. Get off my back.
Yeah.
Still one of our funniest bits. So yes, it stings. It stings when one of your 10 holdings cuts in half.
I know, man. Well,
but
did we?
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's just how does it perform compared to the S&P 500?
And let's see.
So our baseline S&P 500 is
Had a bad feeling.
Up 7.27%.
Yep.
But, Kalyn, wait.
There is a silver lining.
There's one more portfolio to compare our performance to.
Our guest stars.
The Get Rich guest portfolio. And it is down 2.11% on its single Starbucks holding.
Yes. Woo! What a relief.
So
we're beating our one guest stock.
We are getting crushed by the market, but we at least are not.
We at least are doing better than our friends. That's what matters.
That's right.
I don't need to do better than everybody. I just need to do better than my friends.
I mean, I'm bad, but at least I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Like, at least I didn't pick that turkey. Jeez.
Totally. Man.
I did watch a show recently. It was it's on Netflix. It's basically from the makers of Law and Order, but it's like a real life, like it's called like Detective New York, or Homicide New York, right?
Yeah.
And they interviewed people from New York, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys could not have interviewed more New York cops. Like whatever the antithesis, like the absolute pinnacle of like the most New York possible cop that you have in your mind. Like they had a female one, they had a male one. Like that is them. It's like grizzled, like like just hardcore. They've roughed somebody up in a back room before for sure, or whatever. And they're definitely like, but and I like love that kind of stuff though.
And they got that accent where it's a tour,
just
tournament.
Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I can't really do the New York one so well.
No, I'm not very good at accents in general. Like I got kind of good at a British accent. If someone listening is British, then you're gonna think I'm awful at it. But I think I'm quite good, but I don't really know. It gets a bit cockney or whatever. And I have to make this face the whole time, like have my nose all scrunched up.
As she scowls in her British accent.
But that's it. That's where it ends. I can't really do any other accent. I always wanted to hear people do like the Trump jokes or what, doing Trump accent way of speaking. I don't know.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets. I was like, this is going to be marked down as the moment that you lost this campaign, Don, was when you said that they were eating the pets in the presidential debate. Yeah, or alternatively, equally as fun, you win the presidency.
Right.
The stupid son of a bitch that said they're eating the pets is now president of the United States for the second time.
I mean, it's like a coin flip at this point. I feel like I don't know. I haven't kept my ear to the ground on it because I'm like, I have no control over this stuff. I'll vote probably.
In our state, it is very important who you vote for senator, but who you vote for president is not going to matter this race. So
really, so I've heard that Ohio is like one of those states that they're like, how Ohio votes is how the nation turns out or whatever. Like,
this was true. Yes, and we have one of our microbrews has a beer called Swing State, and it's the same stuff that you might get at a different microbrew called Hook and Ladder Lager. But nevertheless, it was called Swing State because, yes, up through maybe 2 presidential cycles ago, Ohio was absolutely a very pivotal swing state, but it's gone hardcore red basically since Trump. All right. Well, I don't have a great segue, but I had a follow up from one of our previous conversations. So we talked about this extensively the time we had Her Majesty Andrea Kimmel on the podcast, but about luxury resale goods, and saw this article in the Robb Report. I do not subscribe to the Robb Report. Secondhand luxury goods are now a $50 billion business worldwide. Which is not surprising to me at all, if I'm being totally honest. And this is from a Bain & Company estimate. And then they had the bit about which brands. So the brands themselves are like thinking about, how do I deal with this, right? So like as an example, they give Rolex has started a certified used Rolex program, right? But that's because Rolex, there's a lot of Rolex out there, and and whatever, but there's like not so many that you can't do this. When you have, if you're a fashion brand that sells dresses and it's a different dress every week, right? You can only have so much of this like certified used product, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned Hermes a couple of episodes ago. Their pre-owned handbags are 25% more expensive than the new ones.
Right.
And pre-owned watches in Rolex and Patek Philippe 20 and 39% more expensive. However, most take a hit. So this list of brands, Gucci, etc., drops 10 to 23%. Louis Vuitton loses 40%.
Yeah,
and Christian Dior's bags almost half in value. So
right.
So Gucci partnered with Real, for example, and blah 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 blah.
So part of like why that exists, and specifically with Hermes, like why theirs goes up in value is because now you have more choice, because they don't make very many products. They don't make many at all. When they come to Birkin bags, if I sign up to get a Birkin bag, I have zero input into what Birkin bag I get. I get whatever it is that they send me.
Wow.
Right. Because and that holds true for all the celebrities also. They just get on the list, and when a Birkin bag is available, then they pay for it. That's what they get.
To the tune of like $50,000. So you're paying $50,000
between
for this
30 and
privilege
50. And I think that you could probably say like, I want one of the $250,000 ones with diamonds and shit. Like, and they'll make that one specifically for you. But like, no, but any of the like 30 to 50 grand purses, you do not get a say at all. And so when you sell yours, then suddenly like, oh, if I was really, really hoping for a black Birkin bag, but I got like this green one or whatever, like I would be, I mean, I don't know. I would never buy this, but
you put yours up for sale and then you go find the black one. That
and want. Now I suddenly have some choices, and I'm probably willing to pay a little bit more for that, like then they just say, look, it's apparently super, super hard. It takes like roughly 10 years to be able to be like one of the people that makes Birkin bags, like the people who sew the leather, because you have to go through all of this like apprenticeship. It's kind of cool in like an artisanal way, right? Like they really pride themselves on their products. They are very exclusive. I mean, they have more that are less exclusive in the store, but their Birkin is their big thing. And so like with Louis Vuitton does come out with a lot of products every year,
Yeah. Louis Vuitton is one of those brands I tend to see people carrying who, although I'm prejudging, I look at the person or the family and I'm like, you don't look like the type of person that should be dragging a Louis Vuitton suitcase around, but they seem to be. So
yeah, like that's very much what I think with that brand. But I also think that is the most important thing to me, that everyone looks at my purse and they know that I'm carrying a Louis.
I see that
like,
LV
that's great.
As you were talking about Hermes and their Birkin bag, I mean, what I was hearing is they're basically the opposite of Mountain Dew, who will make any damn thing for any damn customer of theirs.
That's right. Which is why Mountain Dew's resale value is so low.
Well, listen, I'm going to list this on Poshmark.
Like, I want to take this back.
Half drunk. Listen, put this on Poshmark.
This is fucking awful.
It probably has lost all its carbonation by now, but limited release.
So you were talking about how the caps had to have a special lining to keep the air in, or maybe keep the air out, whatever the system was for the bottles you were working on with Color Matrix. And I recently learned about this. And I don't know why this wasn't immediately obvious. When you buy a bag of chips, like the air in there is like actually not oxygen or whatever, because otherwise, they would just be stale right away. Like, I never thought about it being like any other gas. I can't remember.
Me neither. I never thought of that either. I bet it's nitrogen if I had to guess, but
probably.
What we should do is huff a few bags and see what happens.
Huff a few bags. Get out. Open it in your mouth.
Squeeze the bag of Doritos.
I don't know if it'll do much good, but it might make our breath smell like
Doritos.
It is nitrogen. I just looked it up. But that's
because nitrogen's cheap, and then
it protects the flavor, color, odor, and structural integrity, which yeah, I had never thought about it at all. But that's like that's why they, you buy a bag of chips that's been sitting on the shelf for a year, they're still going to taste the same. They're not going to be stale in the way that they will be like within a week after you open the bag.
Yeah. Or in Houston, one day, if you set them outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if you don't like put a clip on them like mom and dad, they seem like opposed to like wrapping things up or trying to keep air out. I'm like, what's the deal? Like, you don't care? You like chips stale? Like,
eat them so fast they don't go bad.
No, they don't at all. They take forever to eat them. I'm always like, are these crackers going to be fresh? No, definitely not. Like,
crackers are as fresh as our knives are sharp in this household, I today was at a Giant Eagle, which is our Kroger equivalent, not Heinen's, not the high end one.
Yeah.
And the sodas there were $7.99 a 12-pack, and I'm like, man, I've been drinking more soda, so I'm at least looking at them. I'm just like, even that this need to, I'm like $88, eight divided by 12.
It's too much. Yeah, it's like 50 cents a can, right? No, not that.
No, it's more. Yeah, that'd be $6. I can't even do. Right. I don't even know why I can't do. So it's 6 plus 30.
It's like 75 cents. $8 divided. So maybe both of it. It's 66 cents a can. 66 cents.
Folks, this is how we do math on this finance.
Like carry the two and.
So my limit is 50 cents because that's what you used to pay in. The vending machine when I was a kid, they were 50 cents a can. But now to pay that at home for a refrigerated can of Coke.
And I'm like, man, the days of me buying five 12 packs for $10 or $12. Whew. That feels like, man,
absolutely.
I guess that's long gone. I mean, now like I'm getting them for roughly $5 a 12-pack here.
Yeah.
Like it's usually with some sort of special that Kroger has going on. I have to like try to get on the right week, but now it's like buy two, get two free. And they're like $7.99 or $8.99, depending on which kind you get.
Stuff you have to do. And I think they were, last time I was at Costco, they were 38 cents a can or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy a flat of Diet Cokes for 38 cents a can. But it's a desperation play to buy them at one of these grocery stores around here.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what am I going to do? I've been thinking about this for my trip. Should I pay to check a bag that's just full of Coke? To pay to have not just check a bag, but check a heavy bag that's got like 12 packs in there.
Now you're paying the heavy bag penalty. So you can.
So I'm paying like $100 for this bag.
We gotta figure out if this math works out.
And there is nothing but soda in there.
I know this is well-trod territory for us, but I just feel like I have to bring it up again. Like I listened to another episode of I Will Make You Rich, and just so these guys, their particular deal was they have $3 million in the bank, but they also have $40,000 of credit card debt. And it's like, he's like, this doesn't make any sense. And these two, they're not married, but they're having a baby, and he makes a lot of the money. He makes 3/4 of the money or something, and she's a flight attendant, he's a bigwig at a company, and just like the way they operated, they're just their thought process, and I'm like
it's incredible to me when I hear some of these people, because I'm like, I didn't realize I was so different than everybody else or whatever that people are so different from like in general. Like, how did you get to this point? This was the logical choice, like.
It's like, obviously not a lot. There's so many people where it's just like, it'll all work out. That's the thought process.
Yeah.
Like, spend every dime I have and even more, go into debt. And I'm just not going to worry about it. I want to go skiing.
Right.
So I'm going to put it on my credit card, and I'm.
Yeah. My dissatisfier in life is just is people really like, I need more. I basically I think I'd be very happy, and when I'm in a good relationship, I am quite happy in life in general. Like, if we throw in a husband to the mix in my life, then I think I'm pretty happy. Like, yay, life's pretty good.
I don't know. Whenever I hear you talking about getting married, I'm like, oh, So you're tired of being unhappy single? You'd like to be unhappy married? Okay.
But like, but my problem is that like I'm lonely and isolated,
Good
and
for
like,
you.
yeah, I think that like I know that like being married is not like a panacea for sure. Like, I don't think like, oh, we're just gonna ride off into the sunset. It's gonna be perfect. Like, you and Nanchi just wake up and start or stargazing at each other every morning. Like, oh my god, I wake up next to you. You're so perfect. I love you. Like, that's
I
every
say
day,
stuff
right?
like that, and then
Yeah.
Andre's like, "Shut up."
She's like, brush your teeth.
Cut it out. Get out of here.
This actually kind of related. I wanted to for the my scam of the week is kind of a tangent, really. It's less of a story there, though. Perfect. There is a story. It's a drug called Nurofen, which is popular in Australia. It's an ibuprofen, right? And they got into trouble because they made Nurofen for period pain. Sorry, my necklace keeps getting caught in my desk. I'm flipping it over. For period pain, for arthritis, for whatever, and it was all the exact same product, but they charged like twice as much for the different one. But that tastes different. Then they charged more.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, the berry blast at one place is the same as the berry extreme at the other place. I promise you.
Oh,
anyway,
sure.
Carrying on. On.
So they said that like, you know, this one is specialized for this, and it really wasn't. It was exactly the same thing. And I think that we do the same thing here. Like, if you look at Tylenol for arthritis or for migraine or whatever, I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, so don't get on a Tylenol, but I think it's the same medication. I don't know if we charge more for the specialized one, but anyways, they ended up having to pay. In Australia, their people took them to court, and they paid $6 million or whatever for being bad. And it reminded me though of like the placebo effect. And as it turns out, like with pain medication specifically, if a pain medication is specialized or labeled as being specialized, it actually works better, even if it's the same medication. And it works better if it's more expensive. It works better if it's red in color. And so really the scam of the week for me is like the scam that we all pull on ourselves of the placebo effect, because it's like a super real and fascinating, especially in the pain department. It even is effective if you know you're getting a placebo, like specifically related to pain. Placebos are not going to like cure viruses or infections. You know, they don't shrink tumors, but like anything that's in your mind, which is all the things about how you feel, placebo has a really huge effect on that. Like everyone thinks they're going to be able to tell, but they can't tell, even if they know that it's like not going to work.
Wow. Which
I'm like, man, just tell yourself good things.
Yeah.
People.
I have some reactions. So the $6 million, you said $6 million fine these guys paid?
Yeah.
That's like a minute of Tylenol sales, I think. Like,
it's the highest corporate penalty ever paid in Australia. For misleading the public, I guess, or whatever.
Maybe Australia. I know. Maybe these companies aren't anywhere near the size of drug companies.
I mean, I don't. Right, it's Australia, so who knows how their shit's all crazy.
Do you think they argued about this placebo effect thing because you could literally say, yeah, the difference is the name and the packaging. And
so the thing is that they charge twice as much, and so they like say that
it works better. It works better, Kalyn.
and it actually extra works better because you charge more. Like apparently, a pain medication, when it's expensive, people think it's going to be better, and then it is. Same as like if you pour wine. If people think wine is expensive, it tastes better. Like, and if it is poured from a heavy bottle, also tastes better. Same exact wine. We're stupid. That's the reality, is that we're dumb and we want to think something's fancy, then it is fancy and we like it. You know, like, I mean, just all the more reason not to buy like the Louis Vuitton bag or the Hermes bag. So it's like, you could just get a knockoff. You're going to get the same reaction from people, and like,
right.
We're dumb as humans.
The thing that popped into my head is baseball cards and card collections, because it's like, you know, this one's got the sparkles and the this and the that, right. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. And like some of that is definitely about like flaws and stuff. Like if you have a card that's bent in half or whatever, like you have a Horace, whoever that guy is.
Wagner. Honus Wagner.
Honus Wagner. Like even if it's bent in half, it's still worth a lot of money, but it'd be even better, way better. Like crazy better if it was in mint condition.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Well, I know something
but,
that's
I
not
mean,
even close to mint condition anymore, but we need to check in on, which is a 5-pound gummy bear.
Oh yeah.
You're like, where is this
What
going?
do you mean it's
Where
not?
is this one going?
I know. I was like, what are we talking about?
It's more in cherry condition than mint condition, if I'm guessing.
Heck. It is in cherry condition. That's true. The weight is 4 pounds, 9.9 ounces.
Woo, we're getting there.
Yes, we are. Come here, bad boy.
That's yeah. If you took off you're okay, so you're almost 2 ounces from being 4.5 pound gummy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
Not just eat it like corn on the cob. Just the next bite over. Okay, do that. A series of bites and gosh, you're getting good at this, man.
Yeah.
These are some of the deepest, most.
Well, yeah, I gotta get in there.
Maybe that's the voodoo mystery flavor is 5-pound gummy bear cherry.
My pain is so much better because it's red. Yeah, sleeping pills work better if they're blue. There's like a huge difference in how you feel if you have to take 3 small pills versus 1 big pill. Like,
wow,
it's crazy.
Kalyn is measuring the gummy bear now for the post bite weigh in.
2 bites, yeah.
2 bites.
I've upped the ante. Yeah,
up the pace of biting. Yeah, no, yeah. It looks very much like corn on the cob. Not.
Okay, 4 pounds, 8.7.
All right, so you took 1.2 ounces out. That's pretty good.
So how long at this pace will it take me to eat the whole thing?
Well, 4.5.
Right, yep. Right, 8.7. 0.2. Divided by 1.2 is what we said.
1.7.
60 weeks, 60.8.
So we cannot quit this podcast until we.
We got another year then, at least more than a year.
I mean, the good news is on the 61st podcast, we only have to do, 80% of a podcast that time. So
that's true.
That's the 0.8. That's the 0.8 podcast.
Maybe you should eat some of this while I'm up there, and we can have a little bit of.
It's worth a try. I mean, I would try it, and we're gonna try the.
Yeah, you have to try it for sure. I mean,
you're gonna try the blood.
There's plenty of spots.
Try the gummy fries, and we're gonna try
the masks,
Cheeto masks, and then we're gonna. I mean, I've tried this. This is what I should have put on when I had that awful flavor from the.
He's talking about his lip gloss. It's
Mountain Dew lip
flavored.
Gloss.
Yeah. It's like the world's biggest lip gloss. Like, can't you just like pucker up and just kiss it and it cover everything? Like, it's like, I love you, Mountain Dew.
I love you, Mountain Dew. I can't stop loving you, Mountain Dew.
I know.
I promise I'll do better. I promise.
That's right. This episode's totally titled like Mountain Dew, our abuser.
Our abuser boyfriend, Mountain Dew. So right.
My abusive boyfriend, Mountain Dew.
You know what? Maybe it's time. I think we've cycled back to Mountain Dew now for the 45th time this episode. Yeah. Maybe it's time that we wrapped it up. Do you have any last orders of business before we?
I don't. Well, we can talk about the stock stuff next week. I'll come back to Helmet Aerospace.
I do have some Helmet Aerospace to talk about, but it was such a rich conversation around Mountain Dew flavors that which is way more important than like aerospace
actual investment stuff. Like, like we like check the portfolio and then we're like, let's just talk about other things.
They're like, we're really terrible at investing, and yeah, and
I'm like, and here's why: placebo effect, because like the advertising industry is just telling us shit that's not true, and we believe them. Like,
these are our lessons for today.
I think Elon Musk is the true placebo effect. Like,
and every time the market value starts to slip, he goes on and he announces some huge thing they're going to have, just around the corner.
Yeah.
And then around the corner never arrives, but somehow the stock. So someday this whole thing's coming crashing down. This might be my scam of the week is Elon Musk and Tesla.
Then let's save that for next week. I'll let you do scam of the
sounds
week next
good.
week.
Well, as for this week, I think we ought to cue the music.
Yep.
This was Robert and Kalyn Get Rich, a podcast brought to you by Get Rich Media Productions. Hey, listen. if you made it this far, you owe it to us to like us, leave a comment,
subscribe,
share it with your friends, subscribe. Good idea, Kalyn.
Yeah.
You know what? I have another good idea for us, Kalyn. We should ask people to do this towards the beginning of the podcast instead of towards the end.
We had little technological difficulties this time.
We did. If you're a hardcore enough fan to still be listening to us, please rate and subscribe. Maybe also send us an email, robertandkaylyngetrich@gmail.com. Kalyn is spelled Kalyn. You can see it on the picture at the top of your podcast, so I shouldn't have to explain it to you again for the 23rd time. We made it through the whole episode. We never talked about Michael Jordan, number 23, but anyway,
the GOAT.
So we're thinking about 24, 2 dozen.
All right. All right.
What other words of advice do you have for the good listeners, Kalyn?
Don't buy Louis Vuitton.
Do not buy Louis Vuitton. It does not hold its value. Get on the list now to get you a Birkin bag. It doesn't matter if it's green.
It won't,
and Mountain Dew,
come in whatever color
we have our eyes
comes
on
in.
you. We're coming for you, Mountain Dew. Don't think you
treat
can
us
work your way
right. We're
back
not
into our
taking you
hearts.
back.
That's right.
We're not taking you back if you keep abusing us.
Wait a minute.
Oh, but it's
Mountain
so
Dew
good.
lip gloss, though.
So
We love
good.
you. All right. That's it. We're out of here.
All right. Have a great
Bye-bye.
week.
Deuces.